Hey everyone, this is part 2 of my skate project, and as you can see I've decided to lace up the boot, and that is because I have attached successfully, by the look of it, the aluminium, what's it called, Sure Grip X plate, which I can actually show you. The Sure Grip X, and that's upside down there at the bottom. I hope you can see it. Super X7. And the technicalities of this I'm going to run through very briefly because I should have filmed it, but I didn't. So the plate comes, solo. The heel here, this little plastic bit, that's absolutely essential because the boot itself has a slight swing to it. Without the blade, the ice skate blade on the bottom, the boot curvature is actually much worse than what you see there. And when I lined the plate up, I held this front end down and the gap at the back was almost double the heel size. So I really wondered if this was going to work at all. But to my shock and amazement, I have a pair of working skates, and the measuring up of the plate was the big challenge. I can hope that it's straight. I'm not 100% convinced that if it's not straight, it's not going to stop me skating. Maybe for long periods of time it'll like freak me out, but I mean, you can just adjust your foot. But anyway, I improvised the heck out of this, because if I hold steady for a second, here is my pre-bought, pre-made skate, and if I line up the back wheels just quickly, you can see that the aluminium plate, the one that I adjusted, is actually shorter. It's got a shorter wheelbase, and I thought that that was important, because I wasn't convinced that the wheelbase, if you look on there, it's huge, and the wheelbase here, I've still got the back wheel relatively near the back. There's that little gap there at the end there, just here, tiny little gap, whereas that one sits as flush as it can be, and then the stopper is still slightly protruding from the toe. But to be honest, I thought it was a risk getting slightly smaller plates than what was suggested, but I think that's worked really well. I've only had the chance to go around the kitchen because raining and terribleness, but so far they haven't fallen to pieces, and I'm really quite impressed that it worked. But yeah, getting the plate on, I had to mark through the plate where these front two go, and the front, how can I say this? The front screws here are plated together in a uniform way. There's a solid metal bar between them, and if I can show you in there, you see that metal bar there that's got the pivot? That's the rear one, and the front one is not like that. The front one, I don't know why, but the front one is just one piece of metal. And in the first instance, on the first time I did this, it went in quite easily. The second time I did it, the two metal bits were like that after they went in, so I had to very gently bend them back in to make them fit, which was making me all kinds of nervous. And then the bar itself, once I bent them back in, started to rise up. Forgive my crude gestures. So if I didn't have the laces in, you could see down there that there's a slight, I mean that's exaggerated, there's a slight rise in the metal plate on the inside that's holding the actual skate plate to the boot. But to my amazement, with this almost wafer thin footbed in, you can't feel it at all. Again, that might change over prolonged use, or once I start using it properly, maybe the footbed will wear out and I'll have to do something about that. But yeah, the project of a pair of ice skates that I couldn't sell for a fiver at a local boot sale or online, just no one was interested whatsoever, which is understandable. There's no ice skate rinks around here. I bought them when I was in a different city. But how about that? I've got aluminium plates, slightly shorter than was recommended, so I've got a slightly short wheelbase. I've got these rather lovely Radar Villain wheels, which I desperately wanted to try because the wheels over there, the Airwaves Clear, are what are they, 78A, something like that? Yeah, I think that's standard, isn't it, for soft outdoor wheels. These wheels are actually an 85A, so they're the slightly harder end of the outdoor range. And I had no choice really but to get something that had a pink hub. I'm not particularly over the moon about it, but I'm not particularly bothered about it either. I did also purchase some tougher, stiffer, and actual 93A brushings, but I haven't put them on yet because I just tightened them down to the point where they're bulging a bit and they don't move as much, and that seems to be working fine for me at the moment. So yeah, that is my project, having run to completion, from a pair of ice boots I couldn't shift for love nor money to a pair of skates that I cannot wait to take out. I think that's pretty good. Okay, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. See you around.